For the first time in history, Pope Francis has broken with his annual Easter foot washing tradition by only washing the feet of women, stating that he is quote-unquote done with that gay shit.
The 87-year-old continued, straight up, I'm just not about that life. And having to say no homo after every dude foot wash was becoming increasingly time-consuming. With that said, when it comes to the women, I'm no holds barred. Even if she just went to the gym and shit, I'll wash those dogs anytime, any place. And encourages women to send feet pics to souldaddy@thevatican.com.
The Pope claims he is more than made up for changing the zesty tradition with how much extra time he is now spending on the ladies' feet, giving each foot a couple smooches for good measure, and can even go further than that if that's something she'd be into. But when it comes to the foot of a man, he says the official policy of the papacy is now to miss him with that.
When a reporter pointed out that the Pope's predecessor, Pope Benedict, exclusively washed the feet of men, Pope Francis grimaced and asked us to pause before backing up and claiming he talked to God earlier, and even the Lord agreed touching all those dudes' feet was a little sus.
The boys.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The lads.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST.
The bros.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The homies.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Experience the BOYSCAST.
The BOYSCAST.
Let's go! We are here at the BOYSCAST. This weekend, I'm going to be in the shithole known as Winnipeg.
Whoa!
Well known. The Weaker Thens called it I Hate Winnipeg. Great band. And then a couple more dates on the tour. Atlanta, San Diego, Houston. Then I'm just making videos. Danny, you have some tours where you're doing, are you still doing the closer of the eating 19 hot dogs, shoving them down the gullet?
Maybe. That's the encore. That's when they demand the encore, and then I come out with the tray of dogs. But I'll be in Fairfield, Connecticut, April 13th, Hamilton, Ontario, April 19th, 20th, and then Dallas, Texas, end of the month. Morris Plains, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Edmonton, Vancouver, Danny.
My man's out there.
I'm out there.
That is, not like that I'm going to Australia, but that is so funny.
It was.
You leave, and then everyone's like, come on, more.
Yeah.
Come out with 2 paper plates full of dogs.
Yeah.
By the way, on this topic, I have something to say.
On the dog topic?
No, on the topic of you.
Oh.
So this is a top comment last week, and it says, I've always wondered why Ryan likes to make jokes at Danny's expense while Danny doesn't feel the need to do that to Ryan as much on camera. So I just want to say, it's your turn. Have at it. Let's see. What do you got? Unless if I'm so low that I'm not worth your time, then don't. Obviously,
you know what it is the only really like jokes I have are mostly just in regards to like spelling and like grammar and like you saying stuff weird, but the comments take care of it for me.
Okay.
Right. So it's always like you'll mispronounce something or like you'll say something wrong, and then like what am I supposed to be the like actually guy for the rest of my life?
You're saying that's the only thing wrong with me. Other than that, I'm perfect.
Yeah.
See, I see it a couple boys joking around.
You're a little deaf. I don't know. So what are we making fun of disabilities now?
Hey, not okay, dude. You fucking. I thought this was gonna be a fun segment. I didn't know you were gonna fucking take low blows, dude.
Like, I don't know. Like we got
hit me with being deaf.
We got you with the huge balls and stuff, and there's metal stuff floating around in there.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, we got stuff.
Fucking Ryan, this guy's balls are so big. That's Danny at the roast. Ryan's balls are so big. How big are they?
Remember that one? I actually remember that one time with Corinne Fisher, like when we had just met her, and you were like giving it to me for being good in bed. Remember, you're like. And then she's like, wait, are you making fun of Danny for being good at sex? And you were like, yeah. She was like, what?
This guy?
Can you believe this guy putting in fucking performances? And she was like, what?
That's because Danny's ex-girlfriend said he's the best fuck she ever had.
Hey! What can I say? Unsolicited.
That is such a good explanation of how like our Toronto friend group is. It was like that you were like made fun of relentlessly for months because she said you were good at sex.
Yeah. Hey, that's how she goes.
You do not want to be Danny Polachuk's downstairs neighbor.
No. You're going to be covered in dust. A fine coat of dust.
Actually, I got a pretty funny one for you if you want fucking something to make fun of me about for your ammo, because they say roast the ones you love and you don't barely want to do that. But no, so I told you I've been doing Wim Hof at night to try to sleep, right?
Yeah. Did you pass out?
Yeah, I passed. You already knew? No, it's crazier than that, because I have also, me like to pee a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm...
Wait. You pissed yourself?
No, so this is crazier, dude. So I'm doing Wim Hof, right? And I like to try to go to sleep after I do it. So I'm halfway through and I realize I have to pee really bad. So I know that I'm after I finish this, I'm going to have to get up again. So I try to go take a piss while I'm still doing it because I have the headphones in. So I'm basically like halfway through and I'm holding my breath. So I go try to take a piss while I'm holding my breath. And then I just fucking woke up on the floor with my dick out.
Was there piss everywhere?
A little bit. It wasn't that crazy. I just woke up and I remember kind of like thinking of some weird dream and all this weird shit. And then I'm just lying with my boxers, but or my underwear like came up, but like my dick was just like hanging out. And I'm just lying on the floor of the fucking bathroom with my dick out.
That's amazing.
I tried to hold my breath while taking a piss.
Yeah. Yeah, your Wim Hof stuff, you got to be definitely not standing.
I know, dude. It fucking did me in.
I mean, you're lucky you dodged one because that's like so many people are like,
I could have broke my head or some shit.
Yeah, you like.
Yeah, only thing I did is on my going down, I think I like kicked the counter with my shin, so I had a little bit of shin damage.
That's fine. That's honestly, as far as damage.
Dude, I was thrown the fuck off guard though, buddy. When I woke up and I was just like lying there with my fucking dick out on the floor, just what just happened? What happened? What did they do? What did P. Diddy do to me?
Did you check your butthole?
Yeah. I'm just frantically like, what's going on here? But okay, where are they?
The window's open in the bathroom. It's like I don't remember the window being open.
Holding my boobs just so no one sees them. It was crazy.
That's nuts. Does Wim Hof help? You like it?
I feel like it's up there of good things to do. Yeah, JJ got me on that.
Yeah.
And Chase said he does it too. A bunch of people that I talked to are like, it's the fucking shit.
I'll get into it.
It's like one of the best kept secrets.
Yeah, I watched some of the videos, but I never got into it.
I think it's a good one, but it is also funny that recently, like, we're not going to go too deep on the P. Diddy stuff again, but it was just making me... So Jay-Z's like getting it really hard right now, and it's just funny because I started watching the like Jay-Z Beyonce stuff in the last little bit, and the Jay-Z stuff is always so funny because a lot of these guys, they're kind of like saying they sex trafficked, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, as if. But it's the Key and Peele sketch where every one of their songs is like, I'm a pimp with 9 hoes that work for me.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be cool.
I'm running a pimping operation is the fucking titles of the songs.
Yeah, that's we talked about it before, but it was like, it used to be cool to be a pimp, and then they changed the term pimp to sex trafficker.
yeah,
and
that's
then you're
true.
like, and they're like, oh.
That's so funny. Like someone comes on, like a hip hop show, and they interrupt. They go, and we have, Jay-Z coming through. As everyone knows, he's a sex. He's standing there with his pimp cup and his like pimp, his jacket. This is I'm a pimp.
Yeah,
and they're like, we have a sex trafficker on the show.
That just definition got changed on us.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg comes out.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg had the pimp goblet or whatever, the pimp cup, right?
They're like, we have a sex trafficker on the show today. He's just standing there with his goblet.
He's like, nah, I'm a pimp. Go, yeah, we changed.
Well, technically, what does pimping entail?
Yeah.
You just sort of have a bunch of hoes working for you. You give them money to have sex with people.
And then you just keep most of it and just kind of take care of their basic needs.
It's funny though, because Beyonce, her whole thing right now, she has this big country album, right?
Yeah.
And she's trying to weave some yarn about the reason that she has a country album is because she was snubbed by the Country Music Awards like 7 years ago. She's doing a press tour saying that's why she got into country out of this, to show that black women do country. It was like, no, you got into country because it's the fucking biggest thing in the world right now.
Because country's hot, and you saw opportunity there. And
dude, do you think it is also funny to think about where it's like the reason, country being so popular right now? It's like libs were so gay they turned everyone into cowboys.
Yeah, that's like probably
legitimately
probably a factor.
They went so out of control that people just said, "Fuck it, I'm a cowboy now."
Yeah, and they're not even like the old school country where they're like their lyrics are about that stuff. It's not even really. It just it's not even about like your guns and your trucks and shit.
No.
Yeah.
My whole like timeline right now, if I go on TikTok, which I do not do that often, they're always just feeding me some new country guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
It's popping off.
And another couple small things, because this was interesting to me. Obviously, I got to bring it up. You know that.
Yep.
Actor Steven Seagal visits Moscow terror attack victims. And I saw a meme that already...
He's looking good. I guess it's the hair dye.
He's looking good, you think?
I mean, he's 70.
He dropped a couple, you're saying.
He's a little lighter, and he's 71, but he does the whole thing where he dyes all his shit, dyes all the hair, and then hard tan.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so that just kind of, on photos, that makes you look pretty
You think
good.
he goes to the booths?
Oh, for sure.
They can't close it all the way?
He got a custom booth. He's got a custom size booth.
But I saw a meme that kind of said the funniest thing that ever could be said, but kind of what everyone's thinking, I guess. But this one went viral, and it was like, imagine you go to war and you get your leg blown off, and you wake up and it's Steven Seagal standing there pretending to be a doctor.
I mean, the best is if you're like 20 or whatever, you're like military age kind of, and you're like, who is this guy? And then they're like, Steven, don't listen to him. He just had his leg amputated. He's delirious. He totally has seen all your
Everyone knows who
movies.
you are.
Everybody in Russia has seen all your fucking all your.
He gives him a
movies.
signed copy of Into the Darkness or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the deep cuts too.
Yeah.
He's like, I figured you'd appreciate one of the deep cuts.
You're like, dude, don't listen to him. He totally knows exactly.
He's a huge fan.
Huge fan. We're all huge fans.
Yeah, Steven Seagal just leans on the bed at breaks.
By the way, you probably know this. Why did he move to Russia? Taxes?
No, honestly, I think he just fucks with Putin that hard.
Oh, okay.
Steven Seagal is a little bit like Trump, I think, and he's like, he'll move to wherever he gets the most love, sort of like how Dennis Rodman likes North Korea.
Right.
I think a bit of it's that where he was getting almost like, it's the same thing. Quebec has this a little bit in some places in Europe where if you were a celebrity like 15 years ago, they consider you equally as much of a celebrity now.
Right.
Whereas
right.
I feel like America is very much like,
On to the next.
oh, you're a celebrity? That was 6 months ago.
Right, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And whereas I think a lot of other countries, it like sticks for longer, right? They see as, Timothy Chalamet, Seagal, just two big action stars. You know what I mean? I think their fame sticks a little longer out there.
Yeah. Plus, I guess in terms of like proximity to powerful people, you're like one of the most powerful guys in the world. Fuck you.
And then on top of that, yeah, he's going to all the things. He's like guest of honor. Like Steven Seagal is not guest of honor many places in America right now.
No.
Like he's dicking around Hollywood and he's probably poison to these people because legitimately anyone, they look at someone's curve and if it's on the way down, they're like diving out the window to get away from you.
They're not even tracking him anymore. He's not even.
He's off the ticker.
There's no data points anymore. It stops at like 2002. They go, we've stopped tracking his.
They took his ticker off the SMP.
What was the last movie that he actually had that was like popular?
He makes like 4 years.
But like 90s, right? Or like when they were actually like.
He was in
when they were in.
Well, he was in the Machete.
Oh, okay.
Remember? And
No, I didn't see that.
yeah, so he was one of the guys at the end of Machete. Maybe I'm getting this wrong. The Danny Trejo one, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then he's like one of the bad guys. And because he has a rule that he could never be killed in a movie, because like, how would anyone kill him? It doesn't make. He's like, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I saw this thing. It says I lost the fight. It's like just unrealistic. So essentially, what he does. So what happens is, in this movie, he's winning the fight and he's the bad guy. And then Machete, I think it is, has to kill him. And then he decides that he changes his mind and he goes, I think you are right. Something like this. And then he just stabs himself and kills himself Japanese style. So the only way he's ever died is at his own hand.
And honorable. Like,
yeah. So he got to be the bad guy and also kill the bad guy.
And that's probably the last time Hollywood was like, we're not working with this psycho anymore. This is too much.
I don't know. The fact that he was not in Expendables makes Expendables not even a good franchise.
Well, I'm sure he wanted more money than Arnold.
That's
something.
probably true.
He
He probably had
wanted
crazy
some
demands.
Crazy demands. Don Lemon like demands, and they were going.
He demands on where they're shooting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he probably want to shoot it in
He
Russia.
did have Don Lemon demands.
Yeah, he probably want to shoot it in Russia. He's like, I don't really want to travel much. Could we just shoot it like just in Moscow? And
Yeah, I'd like to green screen my scenes.
He goes, oh, also the Russians cannot be the bad guys. I go, we're out of here.
So we have one other small thing is probably a big shocker to you, but women with long hair have more sex than ladies with shorter cuts. Study finds.
Wow.
New study found a surprising link between women's hair and their sex lives. Researchers from Yonsei University in South Korea said married women with long hair, high quality hair, have more sex than ladies with a shorter crop. So this
is groundbreaking stuff.
my breath is taken away.
Yeah.
Old ladies with buzz cuts. People get money to do these studies.
Well,
by the way.
this is in Korea. Well, Korea is interesting because there's only just you only have one of two haircuts there.
I don't think they did this in Korea. That's a really good point that I just not think being talked about.
They only have.
This
so
is talking
maybe
about Western women.
Yeah, Western women have more variation of haircuts.
It was like, yeah, if your wife has a fucking bowl cut, you're not getting head as much. It's probably a good.
Yeah, not your favorite haircut to get to fuck with.
Old ladies with buzz cuts have the least sex. One under that is lesbians have second least sex at zero sex.
Zero
because
sex.
You need a penis for sex.
Yeah, I don't. This is real shocker. I wonder how long the study took. I wonder if they're polling people. That's so stupid. They're like, wow.
Just in their house with a pad and a paper.
Guys like more feminine women. What do you know?
Also, the more important part is chicks with buzz cuts aren't that fun.
That true, yeah. Like the problem is the haircut says a lot about the personality.
I know,
right?
you know what's going on here.
So unless sometimes you'll see like some chick with crazy tattoos and something, and then the buzz cut, and you'll be like, oh no, she's actually so crazy.
There's a few hoes with buzz.
Yeah, like where they go, this is actually like next level craziness. Actually, like she's amping up the craziness.
Yeah,
and there'll be a fun.
You're
time.
right. If the buzz is a little bit of craziness, If the buzz comes like she's so but she's
not
so wild.
Yeah, but it's not just like, oh, I buzz cut my hair because I hate Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's not gonna be fun.
Old ladies with buzz cuts bopping around fucking Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, no, not.
Did you celebrate the Trans Day of Visibility? A lot of people are talking about that.
I did. Easter. Mm-hmm. I sided with the Easter folk.
You know what? We talked about the Pope thing, but
I had a good joke.
The funniest thing about the Pope thing that we did the intro about, in the early years of his pontificate, the Pope changed church rules to officially include women at the ceremony, a move that was met with resistance from the Vatican. So when they first started washing the dude's feet, like the other guy only washed the dude's feet, and he basically said, like, for feminism, let's get some chicks' feet.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the old when they talk about like a guy be getting pussy for feminism. A dude being like, it's not fair to women that I'm only washing all these guys' feet. That's such a good angle on it.
But are there female prisoners?
This year he did prisoners. I think he does different.
I think they're always prisoners and homeless people.
Yeah,
they're like the lowest
grubby feet,
the lowest rung of society, basically, because that's the whole thing. Is he's like,
I'm not even above that.
I've said it before, but by far the worst part about being the Pope is
the worst
foot washing.
But
you're like, it's sick. You got all these like crown jewels and all this artwork, and the worst part is the foot washing.
And on top of that, it's like 12 in a row, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like dude's foot after dude's foot. But
it's like a gangbang.
It was funny the doing the day on trans visibility on Easter, because like obviously it was just kind of like a fuck you to Christians.
Well, but it was that's the thing. Everybody's so mad about it, and then you're like, Trans Visibility Day they've been doing for 15 years.
Sure, but
it happened to follow.
Sure, you could say that. However, if you were Elizabeth Warren, for example, a lot of these people, like Trudeau, I think got accused of this. It was like every other holiday, it's a big thing. And then for Easter, he's like, happy Easter or nothing.
Yeah.
And then trans visibility on the same day.
Of course.
So you show sort of, obviously you're just kind of, trying to do a bit of a fuck you.
Yeah.
But it is funny thinking like, Elizabeth Warren just like sitting there at Easter dinner with like all her fucking lizard people and just like on her phone like fucking trans people are sick.
Oh, they're so sick. I made a joke saying that it should be on April 1st instead of Trans Day of Visibility. It should be on the International Day of Trickery. April 1st. Doesn't that make more sense? One day later instead of March 31st.
Not bad.
Yeah.
We have to make a retraction.
Oh, we have to do a retraction?
So
should we just bury these at the end?
We should bury it at the end. We're not that kind of podcast.
In the credits?
So we talked a lot, and we did a sketch about it and everything. The association between adult penile length and IQ.
Yeah.
Now, there's not been any changes to the data.
The data is holding firm, actually.
But they've withdrawn the fucking
Couldn't
study.
handle the smoke. There's a couple of researchers who thought.
How fucking funny is that?
Yeah.
They withdrawn this. If you go to the survey, it said this study has been withdrawn.
How does that even work?
And you go,
they're like, but we did.
Did anything change? No. And the reason was exactly what we said. When you started saying there's IQ and penis length, people were using that to kind of do race IQ stuff. So, by the way, I don't know how we missed this, or maybe we didn't. The guy who made this study's last name is Wang.
Yeah, it was like literally. They're like, it seems like it could be a troll because it's
there's a fucking dude doing a penis IQ
one guy's
study. His last name's
Wang.
Wang.
His name's like Cuntin Wang or something.
But it's real.
It's real. Yeah, I remember seeing that and I go, this is surely. This is like when you ever see the news report where they have like the flight crash and they're like, pilots are like something Wong, but there was like actual someone trolled them.
Something Wong's good.
Yeah, but it was like someone trolled them or whatever. This was not a troll, but it seems like it would have been.
I couldn't believe it,
yeah.
But I love the fact they had to redact it and there was nothing changing with the data.
No, They just go and
And
they just can't handle the heat.
It's funny though, because you'd think it would be a bunch of people, from countries with small penis being like, shut up.
Yeah.
Fucking stop doing these studies, pal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get this shit off the internet. What are you doing? Why are we paying you money to fucking tell us we have small fucking weens?
Yeah, go back to all your other stupid studies.
Exactly, right?
Long hair and shit.
But it wasn't that. It was, on some like PC shit.
I mean, the problem is they start seeing the type of people who kind of crawl out to agree with it, and like in the restricted comments on Twitter, and they go, we don't like this.
I don't think that's what happened though, even though that's an okay hypothesis. I think what happened is top down, this guy's, was getting flack city at like whatever college he works at.
Yeah, but I guess it's crazy that nobody would think. Maybe they think this will just be like in obscurity, like every other one of our things, is nobody will ever see it.
That's a good point too. They didn't expect their study to get any shine.
Yeah, they probably never had. It's like this equivalent is the equivalent of a video going viral for like a professor, right? It's like you're just posting all day and just dud.
I mean, listen, if I was a professor and I was doing my PhD and I got all this funding to fucking study dick size measurements, that is hilarious. You're just like, I'm beating the system.
Sure. I mean,
dude, they do these. They have like, there's a lot of studies you see where it'll be like, oh, we had 500 grand to find out whether cookies are racist, and it was like, found out they are,
and
you're
delicious.
Like, I could probably saved you all that time and been like, who's doing the study? Yeah, it's racist. Who's doing? You go, okay,
maybe there was what redacted.
There was one recently. It was like taxpayer money, and it was just like some shit like that. It was like we found out that contact lenses are racist.
Sure, sure. But actually, but maybe it's like when they say it's redacted, is there was going to be more research. Like this was just like phase 1, and they go, okay,
It's not.
Flew too close.
This guy's
to the
getting
sun.
out of the game. He flew too close to the sun.
Okay, we're not going to do any more.
I think his new study's going to come out and be like, turns out there's no correlation between anything.
Nothing. Yeah.
There's zero correlations in the world.
What is race?
Yeah, honestly. And one more in the category of dick news.
Dick news.
Warning for men living in cities, air pollution might be ruining your sex life by making you impotent and ejaculate prematurely. So they're trying everything over here.
Those seem like two totally different problems.
They are two totally different problems, and they're kind of the opposite problems.
They're the opposite problems. You're like, one of them is like a young man's problem, and one of them is like an old man's problem.
It seems insane that they're trying to get they're trying everything into the book to try to get dudes on board. I actually saw a funny thing because people like are so done with Trudeau, and Trudeau had a new thing recently where he goes, all female products are free, like any birth control, even the highest ones, whatever you want, it's on the house.
Condoms?
Yeah, I think condoms are free. Probably not, though. I think it might just be the girl ones, but contraceptives, it said. I mean, condoms are already kind of free. You can go to, there's all bowls at all the places, but.
Well, you got, a fucking STD clinic.
Sure. But the top comment was by a long shot with like all the likes was like, man's just trying everything, eh? The guy's just trying everything.
Soon he's going to be making like the gas station fucking boner pills free.
Gas it. Yeah, what's it called?
Toro or whatever. Free Toro for all, or whatever that shit is.
That's so funny.
Bill 10,000.
Free gas station boner pills for everybody. But I
didn't forget about you guys.
I feel like this is 100% in the vein of trying to convince dudes to get on board with climate change, being like, hey, if you don't like performing, but you could actually switch it, because it is one of those things where it's like anytime a guy can't get it up, he's like, I mean, if the CO2 levels were more adequate.
Fucking that's goddamn smog,
I mean, you can thank China for that.
This is the thing. They could really test this because, like in India and China, I'd be like, okay, well, is this like an epidemic because they have insane fucking pollution?
Yeah, you have the pollution levels on your wall.
Yeah.
And then when you come quick and you're just like, you point to the sign as you're busting quick. And then she was like, oh, as if you busted quick because of the climate. And you just say, are you a climate change denier?
Yeah, are you a denier?
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I sitting here with a climate change denier?
And then the next chick, you can't get it up and you go, same thing.
Look at the sign. And it says the test showed extroverted men with normal BMI were the worst affected. And this is ridiculous because the reason they're saying, I guess, is that the guys that are not fat slobs that are extroverted are outside more.
Shut up.
That's the reason.
Is there really I mean, I know obviously there's some difference between being indoors and outdoors, but
Also, climate change has led to an increase in men ghosting women and
Yeah.
calling them a cab
Being
immediately.
jerks.
Jumping out the window immediately after sex has been climate change related.
God damn, man, we got in the wrong business. We like there's people
Climate
who are
change
just-
hustler?
No, just like fake studies. Like these people, I guess this is what happens when like the colleges just get so bloated and are just getting.
This is bloat.
This is just bloat where they're like they just have to make up stuff to do, and they got all this money coming in from grants. And
A lot of guys doing dick-related studies right now.
I guess. I mean, I'm sure there's 10 times as many vagina-related studies, but probably just don't hear about them because of sexism.
By the way, I don't know if you've seen. So in the last little bit, Instagram and Facebook have announced like they're not going to have any political content, right?
Yes.
You have to change it to say I specifically want it. So they're not going to be recommending any political content. It's very wishy-washy what that means.
Yeah,
But
how does? I mean, obviously it has to be just algorithmic. So
and I feel
Words?
like to me, of all the things that have happened, this is in some ways the most insidious because it's one thing when they say, you know, okay, we're going to censor, COVID news. Or like this specific thing you can't do and it's clear. But this one, the reason, like this is to me the most election meddling you can do because if you think about it right now, right? It would, the only way a new candidate can get popular and will get popular is social media.
Right.
Like think about RFK, any of these people that pop off. Like if you're a new political candidate, your only shot is you pop off on the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost exclusively what will happen, you know? And they're basically saying that can't happen anymore.
yeah, well,
Like,
I
do
don't
you
know.
know how
I don't
crazy
know if
that
they're
is?
saying this is moving forward permanently or just until the election's over. But
Well, I mean,
yeah. No. I mean, it's crazy. I will say, like, if they're gonna
me,
enforce
that's-
it equally, at least you could say that's somewhat fair, even though it's insane. But likely, it's not going to get enforced.
well, that's what I say. It's not fair. Just like all of policies like this, where you go, it's fair. You're like, no, it helps some people and hurts others. It helps people that are in the traditional politician realm that have lots of money and can put ads on TV and fucking billboards everywhere. And maybe you're big enough to be, you know, in Darlings where they're doing the big talk show circuits and stuff like that. And it hurts anyone that is not like accepted and stamped approved by the media.
Yeah, but at this point, I mean, I guess for
mainstream
governor and Congress races and all that shit. But I mean, at this point, it's just Trump versus Biden.
Okay, well, to me, that it's going to give someone. I mean, probably it gives Trump a disadvantage because his big thing.
More a social media guy.
He's more of a social media guy. Some people say he was memed into office. But to me, I feel
like, are
this,
Trump memes going to just be like you can't post Trump memes anymore?
well, they just won't show them to anyone.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant. Like you're just like a Trump meme can't go viral because all the Biden memes are making fun of Biden, and all the Trump memes are generally some of them make fun of Trump, but there are some of them that don't make fun of him.
Hey, to me, I agree, and I think this is going under the radar as like one of the biggest election tamperings going, and no one kind of almost
That's
like
pretty crazy.
people almost don't like realize it. You're just like, yeah, anyone who runs their campaign on social media, it's like you can't on Facebook and Instagram. He's like,
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram too.
right?
Yeah, I wonder if they can still run ads, but they have to pay for them. But it's just the free shit now is it's insane. It's insane of Facebook to do that.
I'm saying, right? It's almost, you don't realize what a big deal it is.
TikTok isn't. TikTok's like, see, we love America.
Like, kind of.
Yeah.
You probably already know, but I got to tell you about Talkspace. If you think seeing a therapist or a psychiatrist might be helpful, but you don't have the actual time to find one and meet with them, or you don't think you can afford it, try Talkspace. By doing everything online, Talkspace has made getting the help you want easy, accessible, affordable. Listen, everyone out there gets down sometimes. That can affect your life. Maybe you realize that it's time to talk to a therapist, but you don't even know how to get started. Talkspace makes it easy to find a therapist you liked. It's convenient to meet online, at home, wherever you feel comfortable. And I know tons of people that have used Talkspace and it's had a huge effect and made a huge difference in their life. So a lot of people, you don't want to be going in, talking face to face. It just seems inconvenient. You kind of don't even know where to start. You know, you're not sure that you're going to, what if you you go through all this trouble and get someone you don't like that person. Talkspace makes it easy. And why wait? Because sometimes people wait until something bad happens to talk to a therapist, but you can get a therapist through Talkspace. Therapy can help shift your perspective, find tools to cope in difficult times, be a guiding light, just have someone to talk to, and getting started is the important part. So Talkspace makes it easy and affordable. Talkspace is secure and private, using the latest end-to-end bank-grade encryption technology to store client information, complying with the latest HIPAA regulations. Talkspace affordable and in-network with most major insurers. No need to commute to appointments, miss time at work, line up childcare in order to attend your sessions. Mental health care made easy. So as a listener of this podcast, you'll get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/boyscast. Enter the promo code BOYSCAST to match with your licensed therapist today. Go to Talkspace.com/boyscast with the promo code BOYSCAST to get $80 off your first month. Show your support for the show. That's Talkspace.com/boyscast, promo code BOYSCAST. We have to tell the fellas about Grinds once again. Now, Grinds was one of the biggest companions with me and Danny when we were dealing with those time changes abroad.
The grind.
It was always who's got a grind.
I'm on that grind.
I have been on that grind, and that's the thing. People that listen to this podcast are about that grind. They're on that grind life. And the Grinds, if you don't know what it is, I'm going to tell you about Grinds a little bit. Grinds, it's small pouches, coffee and caffeine. Helps you cut down on some bad habits like vaping or Zyn, which actually is very true.
Yep.
Because a lot of times you just have sometimes people have both of them, you know what I mean? And then you just go with the coffee. But a lot of times too, you don't want to do a full cup of coffee maybe later in the day, so you just pop a grind in.
Yeah, pop a little jolt.
Yeah, exactly. Or you just have them and you're just like, oh, I want to get a coffee. It's like, well, I can't go get a coffee. It's a whole hassle right now. Grind. You have them in your pocket. Quick hit of energy. Use it anytime, anywhere. So I first found out about it when we were
doing Tim Pools.
We were doing Tim Pools. Someone had Grinds, and then we started talking to them, and now they're sponsoring the BOYSCAST, and I'm recommending it to people because I'm on that shit. Use the code BOYSCAST for 25% off at getgrinds.com, and it's also available to Amazon. So you've seen us doing them. We've been doing them while we're on the podcast, and it is a best quick hit. Getgrinds.com, and the promo code is BOYSCAST, and that's 25% off your first shipment. But, okay, so we're going to talk about New York a little bit because there is... you had something to say too, but I was saying right now people have all seen there's an epidemic of women getting punched in the face.
By heroes. By either one hero or potentially multiple heroes. But
you're saying there's a vigilante hero who's had enough of their shit?
It's like a reverse Batman has had enough of these chicks clogging up the sidewalks on their phones.
I have seen police on the subways and stuff recently.
Oh, tons.
But I feel like it has been quite a topic, at least in the country everywhere, of like New York's safety to some degree. Which
again, I'm like, we're both pretty large guys though, but like I've never been felt, no, I've never really been felt unsafe. I had one guy kind of like hip check me once randomly, but he was like small.
I don't know. I feel like
there's a real epidemic of in the city, and I know it's probably
you've never had a real psycho walk on the train, and you're like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, I have. But
if I was a girl, I would be like,
if I was a girl, for
sure,
yeah. 100%. The real epidemic is like there's just so many fucking crazies who normally in the past would have been put in a like committed to like a facility, and then they shut all of those down and just released them
into the wild.
And so that's what we're dealing with now. And
on top of that, the police kind of were not doing as much.
This is like a mental health. Yeah, that too. And then also they're like,
dude, like, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
there you go. But Andrew Yang posted, like, remember a while ago, Andrew Yang would be like, look at this. This guy's crazy, keeps walking around punching people. This guy should be an institution. And like people would just be like, you fucking Nazi.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But like it's more just crazy people who are just on the loose and they don't know what to do with them. I guess arresting them doesn't, like they go, yeah, this guy's been arrested 21 times and they keep releasing him. And they're like, yeah, because they're like these minor misdemeanors and he doesn't know what planet he's on. So you're like, yes, he keeps getting arrested. He doesn't know the concept of being arrested.
Well, you told me the funniest story.
I saw a guy right outside of here 2 days ago. I when I was doing my other show, I left and there was a guy, he was like probably like, I don't know, in his 30s. He had his pants, he was on all fours. This is on 8th Avenue, all fours, pants down, and he was just
that must have been a fucking treat for you. Huh?
twerking. I like walk by him, like they're super busy. There's cops everywhere doing nothing. Literally, I saw this guy's asshole.
Let me guess, you forgot something at the store to do a fucking second walk back.
I wanted to take a fucking photo of it, just being like, I love New York with this guy's asshole in the background. Cops are like 10 feet away doing nothing.
Danny's taking the long route wherever he's going through that street.
Kids everywhere, like, and just nobody's doing anything. He's like, the guy's fucking cooked. Like,
What was the story? You don't have to mention their name, but what did the comics say about the
oh,
punching?
yeah. So the punching thing, this
So fucking
this
funny.
is no way this is true. But it is funny how they're trying to like. But so there's all these women getting punched, and they didn't know if it was one guy doing the punching. They arrested this one guy who was apparently ran for mayor. He's like one of those psychos who like runs for mayor.
Real nutcase.
Yeah, real nutcase, and he like apparently is Marcus Garvey's grandson or some shit.
Who's that?
Some like civil rights dude. And anyways, but this girl, I was at a comedy show, and she's like,
How do you go from I'm gonna run for mayor to be like, well, that didn't work out, I'm just gonna be like a punches girls guy?
Well, because they're never serious. They're like, you pay the $100 filing fee, you get like 10 signatures, and then you get.
But
10.
at least you're normal enough to go do that.
Yeah, but there's always like.
Maybe you get
I think
crazier.
you get no. I think there's
An episode.
mayor, but you have like these delusions of grandeur where you think you'll be the mayor, and then so people will go, and I think it's easy to like get. Or fairly easy to get on the ballot or whatever.
Okay.
But anyway, so this comic, I was at the show, and she's like, I got punched. Right? She's like, I got
How
hit.
bad?
She's like, it was fine. And she said actually it wasn't. Well, she's like, I had headaches and stuff like the next day or whatever. But I guess she somehow spoke to some reporter who was, or maybe she filed, I don't know if she filed a police report or what, but essentially some reporters like working on the story, and her current thesis is that there's a Discord full of like a Discord community full of incels. It's an incel Discord community who is paying homeless people to punch women in the heads.
This is next level.
There's fucking no way. The level of, first off, like you don't find like homeless people aren't on Discord. You have to literally go find them. So unless like the only way is maybe they'll come out and they'll be like, yeah, every single guy they caught said the same thing. We got paid by some dude $50.
Show up and start punching
Show
women.
up and just punch a woman or whatever. Apparently, someone I heard said like one of the guys said
That seems like how SVU would paint a story. They love having the incels on
you
the
think
Discords.
incels, you think white guys, so they're just being like, this is white guys punching women, and you're like, it's not.
But that is crazy if you're sort of like in that mentality that you're just like the amount of hoops you have to jump through to fucking find out how white guys are doing it.
Yeah, how are white guys behind this? You go, okay.
That it really is
Crazy.
next level.
And look, and there might be egg on our face when it comes out that there's some diabolical incels.
Just sitting there, he has no legs and arms. He just sits there and he types with his
He's
tongue.
got the hose that he blows into.
$1,000 to the highest bidder.
But again, you have to go court them.
Let me see those fists.
And
And
like,
that'll do.
How does it even work? You go, here's $20, $20 when it's done, and another 20 when like you
Sure.
just sit out.
Yeah, what guy is like, here's $1,000 to punch a woman, and you're just like, okay, see you
Thanks.
never.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I feel, maybe there'll be egg on her face, but it feels like there's not going to be a lot of egg on her face on this one.
No way.
Well, it's been going on forever. It was like, yes, this has been going on for, like, they've also, the Asian people were punched because of white people on their Discord servers.
Yeah. I mean, this, I guess there is some sort of
By
thing.
the way, it's not exclusively white guys in those Discord servers either.
No,
A
absolutely.
lot of the Indian bros in those incel communities.
Those are
and the
very diverse Discords.
they are diverse.
For sure they are. Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, I'm going to put that at as close to 0% chance as possible that that's what's happening.
I'd probably put it around there as well. You should have made a bet. It'd be like, I'll bet you.
Nah, she was like talking about how she had headaches and stuff.
Yeah, that sucks.
I didn't want to like dissuade her from giving me every detail about this dumbass story. I was like, wow, incels. They're a real scourge in the society, huh? Those incels.
There's nothing they're not capable of. Well,
No.
So the subway thing has been like a big
There is something
problem.
they're not capable of, getting laid.
That's true.
Yeah.
The So there's been a big subway thing, and then you said Eric Adams, the mayor, came out and said that
Crime's at an all-time low, or not all-time, 20-year low.
But I think what they do is they pick one thing,
And they mean murders. Yeah, there was FBI crime statistics came out at FBI maybe last week, and they go crime is down like huge in America, but New York City and Los Angeles don't report like their stats. And
That's true.
And you go, okay, well then those are the two largest cities in the country, probably like maybe the two most dangerous cities in the country, or like with crime.
And then on top of that, yeah, they
it's
probably
not part of your statistics.
I mean, a good way to make your stats go down is you stop prosecuting.
That true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's, I mean,
Stop arresting people.
Well, really, it's like a pretty easy way to say crime's down if you just stop reporting it and arrest and
Yeah,
like,
Mayor Adams is trying to be like the murders are down, which maybe murders are down. Murders are like the one thing where you're like, realistically, those are probably fairly counted.
Buddy, I have a bit of a bone to pick with that guy because I've sort of been on his side.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was sort of more of a common sense guy, and he seems like he's pretty reasonable sometimes. And I'm like, and a lot of the stuff you've said this too, but it's a lot of the stuff is kind of not his fault because you're sort of in a situation where
you
it's
inherit
like you
stuff.
can inherit these problems, you can't change the laws, everyone's pushing back against you, you're doing your best. But then he was going on a press tour. And he said the reason people were sending migrants to New York and Chicago, he goes, the reason they're doing it is because that's a place that has a black mayors. And he goes, it's like a conspiracy to make black mayors cities underperform. And it was like the first place they sent them was Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, and it's just your sanctuary cities.
And
Like, you are like listed as sanctuary cities.
But I was like, you're lying, right?
Yeah, that's nonsense. Is Chicago currently have a black mayor?
Well, it's just such a crazy synopsis. And I was just like, I thought this guy was a bit of a nonsense guy, and that's a fucking
That's
pile
a
of
lot
that's
of
a lot of
nonsense
nonsense.
for a no-nonsense guy. Yeah,
I guess you like can't say anything that sounds remotely right wing, but you don't have to. You can dodge the questions without saying psycho shit.
No, what you have to do is double down and say, well, I guess you can't because now like the city's like buckling.
Put it on the
under
people that won't change the laws.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I guess he's saying because New York's like we're the sanctuary city, so we welcome all the people who are trying to clamoring for a better. They've historically been or less recently we're like we're a sanctuary city. We want these people, and then now you're like okay, this is
It has a limit.
It has some limit exactly, and I guess they reached that limit. So he's trying to dance around that without saying, "Hey, we don't want them."
Yeah, but I didn't like how he danced. That's what I'm saying. I didn't like this dance.
Oh, Ryan doesn't like how a black man dances, huh?
I didn't care.
Who's racist now?
I didn't care for this particular dance move. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing to say. Is Chicago's mayor? Who's Chicago's mayor now? Do they have a black person?
I don't know.
They had
That's
the
what he
alien
said.
chick.
But in general, I thought he was okay, but this was a weird ass comment, dude.
Yeah, black
but okay, so the reason we want to talk about this is because so they have solutions. And there's this place that is essentially, trying to stop harassment, and they kind of make it all. They're trying to make it like a sort of misogynistic thing that there's homeless people like punching people and stuff like that.
Sure.
And they've released these things called BART cards.
Yeah, this is in San Francisco.
Well, they're trying to put BART here too.
No, BART is San Francisco subway. That's like the name of it.
Oh, that's the San Francisco
Area,
cards. Well, I read something saying they're trying to do it in New York too.
Yeah, maybe they're gonna. It's like the dumbest thing you could ever imagine.
You have to. We're gonna play this little video of this is their solution they came up with, and you're just like, what?
This is when you have no ideas left.
This is nuts. So this is if someone's getting, mugged on the subway or harassed or whatever. This is what they've come up with to solve that problem.
Hello, we're two college students who are BART riders.
And safety is really important to us, so we're going to go ask for the bystander intervention cards.
So they grab this card.
Hello, excuse me, will we be able to have some bystander intervention cards, please?
If you're wondering how to ask. Good music underneath.
Thank you so
Groovy.
much. So this card over here is for when
Big
you're being
production in the
harassed.
videos.
It says, "You got me." So you'd hand it to somebody else, and it gives them instructions on how they can help you.
If you see someone being harassed, you can also give them this I Got You card,
This is
which
the
gives them
best
instructions
one.
on the back to find the BART police or call someone, or more instructions on how to be safe.
I really appreciate these cards because
You literally got some guy in your face being like, "What? What you gonna do? You go, can you just give me 1 second? I just need to hand out a few of these cards, please.
The worst is it's happening to someone else. Like there's an old lady and the guy's in her face being like, you fucking bitch, spitting on her and stuff. And then you walk up, you go, hey, here's a card. here's your card. And if you look in the back, there's a number you can call. And then you just walk off. You go, fucking did my part. Yeah.
There you
Woo!
go.
Like a lady, if someone's getting harassed, you can give them a card that says, I got you. And you go, what does that mean? You go, it doesn't really mean anything.
I'm not doing anything besides this. Also, you're definitely going to invite you now being attacked for intervening, right?
Yeah.
And then someone else, you'd be like, does anybody have a card just to get the heat off of me right here? Can someone hand out their card? So then I'm no longer, just everybody's handing out cards.
That's what I was actually talking about to Simeon at the cellar party last night, and he was just like, he was saying as a white guy, he goes, you want to stay the fuck away from helping on the subway. He goes, what's that guy that tried to intervene and kill the black guy? Is that guy living good? That's how you want to live your life? You want to be that dude? That's how you want to live? He was like, you stay away.
Literally. I mean, it's obviously now.
It's a life you want to be living?
That's when everybody on the subway, someone's getting attacked, and then everybody goes, yeah, Daniel Penny. They shouldn't have got Daniel Penny.
Handing a card is good shit, though.
Maybe they should do a thing for homeless or for like the crazies who are getting the cards, where you go, if you collect like 20 cards, you get like a free Subway 6-inch sub.
Yeah.
Maybe that's bad incentive structure, but
the incentive structure is a little going the wrong way. But just if someone's getting like punched on the floor and you're like Daniel Penny, the ex-Marine, and you just fucking hand the girl a card.
I got you.
I got you. What does that mean? He goes, there's a number on there that you can call. You go, we're in the subway. There's no reception.
Yeah, and I'm
done.
getting pummeled.
When you're done being pummeled.
He's currently stealing my phone, and you go, well, they have the things all over the city where you can make calls from.
So I guess next time you learn that you should have your BART card on because
BART card to save the day.
What? I can't even think of a scenario where this BART card might be helpful.
Never, literally never.
And what is it? How is it supposed to even be helpful?
I don't know. Obviously, it's someone who's so liberal that they're like, this just has to work, and there's no practicality to it. Probably nobody wanted to tell them like, hey, this is probably not a really great idea. But then they're like, well, what do you
too
want to
bad
do?
I already made all these BART cards.
Yeah, then it's going to blow up in their face too, because eventually they'll be like, oh, well, they're being handed out disproportionately to like certain races or whatever, and then the police are getting called, so now the police are getting intervened.
That's true.
And then you're like, it's just...
How many people you think are going to get these BART cards? Like, I can't think of one girl that would get a subway card that she could hand to someone that says, I got you, in the case of them being mugged.
Dude, that would be the funniest thing.
You give them a Valentine's Day card, essentially.
In New York City, if you handed that to someone, get like some person's getting like attacked or whatever, and then you go and you hand that to that person, like New York City is the type of place where those two people will now beat the shit out of you for like intervening and being like, what are you doing, man? You'll get your ass kicked by both of them for fucking being like, look at this fucking nerd handing out cards.
What do you think? They have special powers. You pull out the card and you go, well, I bet you didn't think that I got you card. And the guy goes, oh no! Ah!
Yeah, it's the New York.
Oh my God!
The San Francisco superhero. Yeah. Whatever. He goes, I got my trusty cards.
Just as a belt of fucking I got you cards.
I got, yeah.
He's flying around the city handing them out, Batman style.
Yeah, Batman's utility belt now has like a little card holder. Business card holder. Maybe throws them like ninja stars.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You just had a whole belt of BART cards and then like a sachet of BART cards. You're just walking around. Whoosh, whoosh. These criminals are no match for my BART cards.
We should just arm every person in the city for 1 year and just see what happens.
See what happens?
Just 1 year. Just be like, okay, everybody can have a gun for a year and let's see what happens.
Well, you don't need a gun because you have a paper gun, which is called a BART card.
That's as good as a gun, children.
Yeah, that's the cop coming to the high school to tell the kids. Why would you need a gun when you have your BART card?
They're probably like whoever's initiative is like online searching about, let's see how the reception is. Oh no, they're ridiculing us.
People are not happy with the BART cards.
The BART cards.
These
two girls are.
They went all out on the cards. They didn't spend a lot on the advertising campaign to launch the cards.
Yeah, it was just like a TikTok video.
That was not great. No, so BART cards is not a good idea.
BART card's not a good idea.
Someone on our Patreon sent me this. They go, if you go to the bathroom at this restaurant, it goes, hi, if you look on the board, so this is from the same place in the like assault and crisis support for girls.
Yeah.
And there's a sign that says, hi, I'm Angela. Are you on a date that isn't working out? Is your Tinder date not who they said they were on their profile? Do you feel like you're not in a safe situation? Does it feel a bit weird? Go to the bar, ask for Angela, and the bar staff will know that they need some help getting you out of this situation and calling you a taxi and just indiscreetly get you out. But I'm just like, I guess it's okay idea, you know, but like, how does that work? Like, what do you mean that you're allowed? You can.
They distract, like they'll just like accidentally like the waiter comes out with fucking 10 plates of spaghetti and meatballs. You know, he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." The guy's like, "What the fuck, you stupid bitch?" You go.
That's funny.
She's like, "Oh, I'll go to the bathroom. I'll go grab you some towels or whatever," and then just never come back.
Yeah.
You know that for guys.
No, the
You're in
guy
the men's room, and you go, "Hey, are you on the date with a gross pig who catfished you?"
Hey, no,
Just let us know. We'll put a sedative in her drink, and then you can leave.
No, the dude one is like, hey, are you not quite closing the deal? Just ask for Mark. And then Mark comes out. He goes, hey, I just wanted to personally apologize because I know our toilet water's a little high, and I know you're packing really big. I know that obviously a man's your dick size has probably had some problems, but
yeah, just tell Mark. Mark comes, goes, our number one customer. How's it going? The richest man in the city. Do you know that? Oh wow, this guy leaves the biggest tips.
Yeah. No, it's definitely his Will Marks, and he stands for WM Wingman, and he comes out, just soups you up.
Yeah, that's actually not bad.
The most honest man in the world we have here.
Yeah, you just have every fucking employee come up and be like, hey, how's it going? Just glad handing, give you all that social capital.
That's what we need.
Yeah, that's.
But this one, I just don't understand, because you're like, I get the idea but if you're on a date in a public place, like, why wouldn't you be able to leave?
I guess some dudes are pushy.
But then what do they do? Do they block the guy off?
I don't know. No, they must cause a distraction or something. It must be something.
They have like a Mr. Bean type character that comes out and does a big fall, knocks over the table.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's got to be some sort of distraction.
I think you have one of those guys that's selling flowers comes in, and then he goes, oh, would you buy some flowers for the lady? And then he goes, oh, that's a magic trick. And then you basically put like a towel on the girl and you take her out,
Right,
and the guy puts a blindfold on him, and you do a whole thing like that.
Yeah. Or
made
maybe
his date disappear.
Yeah. Hey, man. That might not be the worst, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's girls, like I know they always did that for girls who were like super drunk, or they thought they're.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. It's good idea. I just don't know what they do.
Yeah, I don't know what they do either.
I think you have I think what happens is they make a big public scene, because the only thing that could happen is the Angela girl comes out and she's like, excuse me, she's going to be getting in a cab right now. Like, I think it's got to be a big public scene like that. Right. And then probably
where is this restaurant?
You can probably if you're on a date in a public place, you should be. I think the right answer is probably giving women information about like how.
Do we know where this restaurant is?
I can't remember where she said it was.
We should like fucking go and do like a hidden camera sting operation.
Hidden camera sting.
See how
you dress up like a girl, and then you go. Excuse me, I'd like to speak to Angela.
Hey, Angela here.
My friend, my Tinder date, Brian Fong, has been a problem for me. You got like big glasses on, GoPro on your head.
Yeah, it's probably mostly just chicks being like, this guy wants to split the bill. Is Angela here? Angela! He goes, well, you gonna go halves? He goes, I don't believe in chivalry. Angela! Oh, it's my friend Angela over there.
Ding, 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 woo, woo. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we got a cheapskate alert. No, you do one of these where it's we have a guy that doesn't want to pay for the bill. Then they ring the bell, ding, boo, for the next half an hour, men pay for the bill. Yeah. Oh, it's a fun thing we do, unless you don't want to for some reason. If you don't want to pay the bill, we hand you the microphone, you explain your reasoning.
Tell us all about your men liberation bullshit. All right.
Every man stands up on the podium and explains why he doesn't want to pay the bill.
Oh, that's a good system.
There you go.
Yeah. I'd like to know what Angela does, though.
I don't know, and it's not really making sense to me how that helps.
We got to find out what restaurant this is.
What was it? I brought you go to Angela, and she's like, probably been, you're like, oh, this guy's, being a problem. I think what would happen is she would just
a problem on a date. Usually every date you hear about it's the guy's the problem after he finds out that he's like not. I've seen a million of these. Where some girl goes on a date and she goes, "Okay, like I'd love to meet you another time," and the guy's like realize he's not smashing on the first date, and then she gets like fucking 100 text messages being like, "You fucking gross pig! Like you even went on a date
I can
with
see
me."
that.
Like I've seen that.
How's Angela gonna help that?
No, you just. I mean, again, you just block and move on.
I mean, yeah, I feel like if you're at the restaurant, like the guy would legitimately have to be like
Making a scene. He'd have to be making.
He'd have to be making a scene, and Angela would hear it, or worse, he'd be like, "Just so you know, you're not going anywhere. As soon as we walk out of here, you're gonna get." Like he'd have to be like on the DL, like actually threatening her.
Yeah, exactly. Which would be like, I'm sure that's happened, but
in which case, don't leave the restaurant. Like
on a first date.
Like he's taking it, like the guy's taking her out with one of these, like on the neck.
But then you're like, okay, go to the bathroom and call the cops. I don't know.
It does feel like it a little bit.
Yeah. This is probably not being used for the intended purposes.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's being probably just that shit. Probably just gets used to like shame a dude.
Think, yeah,
she thinks he's fucking uglier than he was in his Tinder photo. Angela comes out being like, "Is this you?
Could you?
'Cause it doesn't fucking look like you."
Do you think it could work if a guy asks for Angela and he's on a date with a chick? The guy goes, "I'd like to speak with Angela."
Hey, Angela, you looking this pig over here?
Goes,
look at this. That's your photo. Can you help me out here?
Angela.
Angela,
she's already talking about being in a relationship and wanting to get married and freezing her eggs and stuff.
On a third date.
Yeah, no, first date. I mean, I told you, I had that, literally first date chicks talking about freezing her eggs and stuff.
What?
I told you that fucking crazy girl in Toronto I went on one date with.
Yeah.
And she was like talking about freezing her eggs, and she's like, we were in a relationship. And
I remember that, yeah.
It was the first date, and she said we were in a relationship.
I bet you Angela would come and take the girls.
Yeah, Angela would totally fucking being like, "Angela, it's not how the program works, Angela. You're supposed to save me from this psychopath."
You're sitting there. Angela, the sign in the bathroom kind of led me to believe that you might be helping my situation.
Yeah, and Angela comes out, she goes, "Yeah, I mean, she's 34, like her
You're going to want to shave some eggs,
yeah. Oh, dude, you know my favorite thing I've been fucking slagging my girl over is so if you are over, because she's 34, I'm sorry, she might be mad at me for saying this, but if you're over 35, officially you become geriatric for pregnancies and stuff. Like your uterus has become like, you're literally a 90-year-old in terms of fucking the medicals.
Technically you're geriatric.
Technically a birth over 35 is considered geriatric.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
Oh, so good. So good. I heard that, man. I've fucking not been laying off the gas on that one at home, let me tell you.
You know what I was doing? I was saying the last couple of girls I dated were older, 20, like late 20s. I'm sorry, not older than me, just older.
Yeah. That's funny.
Not older than me, just older in general.
Older, just past,
So Japan has had some funny shit in the last little bit, and I always like to follow what's going on in Japan, because Japanese schools force cheerleaders to wear shorts to foil despicable upskirting voyeurs. So in Japan, these high school games have had such a problem with guys wearing fucking shoe cams that they had to ban skirts.
That is a funny stereotyping thing I thought of with this, because like everybody's like stereotyping's wrong, but you're like, if someone installs, like if someone's upskirting you or installs like cameras in your bathroom, you have a pretty good idea what their race is.
Cameras in the bathroom,
like this stuff.
You think that's more Asian?
Yeah, I think so. That's like a weird Asian thing.
Is cameras on the feet an Asian tradition?
I don't know about a tradition, but that's like when I picture.
I can picture I kind of sometimes just picture like classic white pedophile a little.
Yeah, it might be some white guys.
Which, by the way, classic white pedophile image, sort of, like mustache, like the big glasses.
Yeah.
That's done. Like nowadays they look like financiers, rappers.
Looks like basically everybody at a synagogue on a fucking Friday night.
Like the Grabbler.
Just all pedos walking around.
Yeah, but you don't see a lot of the vintage anymore,
No. Yeah, the guy with the van.
Jeffrey Dahmer outfit.
Yeah, it's over.
The guy with the van seems to be not popping anymore.
No.
But I didn't know that stereotype. I wasn't sure. I didn't know that. But is that maybe that makes sense, because apparently it's this like big problem over there.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny that they go, female cheerleaders often dressed in sleeveless tops and short skirts are photographed without their consent, and the pictures then posted online. So guys, like when they throw her in the air, there's guys. It's a Japanese tourist.
Yeah.
He probably has the map and everything,
His
right?
whole head's like wired up. He looks like the fucking, what was like that wall?
Blinking to take the pictures?
Yeah. No, he just has like 40 cameras just on his head and the helmet.
In response, girls from Takasaki High School in Gunma, northwest of Tokyo, performed in shorts. In addition, teachers from the school are patrolling the stands with signs asking for spectators not to take photographs of the students. So it's such a problem.
You can't take photographs of high school sports thing?
Oh, in what world can I not go to my local high school and photograph the cheerleaders doing their art?
Yeah, I mean, what else are you there for?
But it's like they have like 9 guys that like their kids aren't on the team. It's like wild.
That is wild.
Dude, can you imagine you were like one of the people on the team and your dad got busted taking upskirts of the fucking cheerleaders? How fucking embarrassing that would be. You look up in the stands. I don't know what sport it is. Maybe football. I don't know. But you look soccer maybe. I don't know what they play.
Yeah.
Baseball, I would gonna guess.
Baseball, soccer.
They don't have cheerleaders in baseball though, so I don't know. But you look up in the stands and then you see your dad getting yelled at by one of the upskirt volunteer stoppers.
And he's got like the telescopic, like, you know, that fucking camera with like a lens this long, being like, I just like photography.
that would kill you, dude.
Yeah, the mirrors on the shoes.
You get absolutely crushed if your dad showed up to a game with one of those puppies.
He's just a big photography guy.
Interesting. There's been such a problem, though. Also, they had a big thing about Japan because they weren't going to do Oppenheimer, and then they decided that they are going to premiere it there.
Yeah, it just came out.
Well, it's kind of like a big controversy of whether they were going to show it in Japan. And it does feel like cucking a little bit to play that movie in Japan. Like, it does feel a little bit like, you know, a guy fucked your girl and now you're looking at the video. He's sending you the videos of it.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it's like, I know obviously there's some debate over whether the nukes, you know, Hiroshima and Nagasaki were necessary because Japan was kind of already lost the war at that point, and it was going to happen anyways, but they weren't like the good guys here either.
They showed some mental anguish on it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously it's horrific that they just went and fucking dropped them on just
It wasn't a total
cities.
propaganda film that way.
No, it wasn't a total propaganda, but they were just like, oh, they should have been like, this is a huge mistake we're making. And you go, well, that's not what happened. I don't know.
If I was Japanese, I probably wouldn't want to watch it.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know.
I'd be like, fuck this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like, it's still happened. Like
Cillian Murphy, more like Cillian, not for me.
yeah, Adam.
That's what I'd say if I was Japanese.
Yeah, I mean.
Now back to my photographs. Do you want to watch Oppenheimer today? You're like, it's a 4-hour movie and I got 9 high school games to hit.
Yeah, or I could watch fucking 40 high school chess tournaments.
Oppenheimer. I'm actually thinking I'm going to be on the local school watching Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
That's what I think that he's up to.
Hey, I mean, don't watch it. Don't support it if you don't want to watch it.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I'm not Japanese, so I did watch it and I
I'm
support
sure
it.
lots of Japanese people.
I'd feel like I was getting cucked. If I was a Japanese guy, I wouldn't fucking sit in that
I guess I
theater,
don't know
get cucked like that.
Yeah, to which degree.
If I saw a thing about how the Irish people were just fucking bitches and shit like that, I would be, not for me, man. You got the wrong thing.
But that wasn't that. I saw Oppenheimer. It wasn't about them being bitches. They just were like, hey, we're dropping the fucking nukes or whatever. And they weren't like, I guess there wasn't just enough of them debating whether this is morally okay. They're just like, we made the nuke. All right, let's fucking nuke some Japs.
They thought there wasn't enough.
Yeah. They just didn't like that. So I don't know.
It was interesting if you watch I told you I watched the documentary about like World War II, where all of these like filmmakers like Coppola and stuff like that left their careers just to make straight up propaganda films. And then they released
Coppola.
No, it wasn't Coppola?
Oh, that was
pretty sure it was Coppola.
Not during World War II.
Pretty sure.
Francis Ford Coppola, he was making movies in the 70s. He wasn't. No, he wasn't making movies during the 40s.
Fact check me, Johnny, if you don't mind. Was Coppola making World War II films?
I thought one of his first movies was like.
Well, maybe he was just in the. You know what? It's very possible he was in the doc talking about
the other. About the other guys. Yeah.
What was it?
Oh no, he would have been too.
He would have been.
Okay, so he was in the doc.
Yeah.
But anyways, like they went from their filmmaking career and they were sort of like doing this.
The government definitely would go get filmmakers to make propaganda.
Yeah, they did. And these guys were sort of painting themselves as like heroes. Like they basically, stopped the Holocaust in their mind, right?
Yeah.
But then they show the films and it's like a Japanese guy with a happy and like,
big time.
like legitimately. And dude, if you had to be a Japanese guy actor back then, some of these guys were taking those roles. Like, can you imagine being like a Japanese actor that took you needed money, so you're just like, I don't get a lot of roles. And you take a role as like the fucking caricature Japanese guy in the World War II movie.
Yeah, and that was crazy too, because that was at the time when they were like, you could be a Japanese, like third generation American, and they're like, we have to put you in an internment camp, and you're like, but I'm American.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, my parents were born in America, and they're like,
buddy, I'm telling you, they'd show the films and the guys, because they really wanted to focus on the Holocaust part of it, right? But they had to touch a bit on the other, and that was why, because there was some outrage about it a little bit at the time. But yeah, you have this guy being like, we just knew that it was our duty. They cut to the film, it's a guy, dong, no, dong, 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 dong. It's like not even Japanese.
like Andy Rooney, like the Frappadicki. All that shit. Yeah. I mean, it was crazy back then.
You're like, oh, Jesus.
I mean, the crazy thing is they're making propaganda now, but you don't, it's not as clear what's like specifically, because it was like a very real tool.
Well, but yeah, they are doing it. I mean, like they had that IDF movie that everyone was like screening and stuff like that. But this one was interesting because basically the filmmakers would take these government contracts, probably for a lot less money than what they were doing.
Yeah.
They would make these films and they would actually be shown to like the troops and not public.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Some of them eventually made their way to being public films. Yeah, some of them are like gassing up the troop films.
Yeah.
So some of these Japanese guys would like take a role being like the villain in like a movie for the troops.
That's like how fucking all the, like Ahmed and all the comics who were like after 9/11, the only roles they got were terrorists. Like,
of course.
The only roles, you're like, fuck. You're like, I want to work in Hollywood, obviously. And then they're like, okay, well, the only roles we have for you are literally Muslim terrorists. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah, you definitely had to.
God damn it.
Podcast listeners, I got to tell you about the Bolotor Podcast. They interview the top people in the outdoors and listen to the guests they've had on the show. EJ Snyder from Naked and Afraid, and they've actually had 5 people from Naked and Afraid on the show. Jordan Jonas from the show Alone. Forrest Galante. He was on Rogan, I believe, right? He knows everything about the outdoors, animals, wildlife, you name it. Tons of other people from the Discovery Channel, National Geographic, the Red Bull team, and much more. The host is Michael Stein. He's the co-founder and CEO of Bolotor, an outdoor products company. He's also an actor, filmmaker, stand-up comedian that's worked with Academy Award winners. So the man gets around. He's an outdoorsman. I'm sure there's people listening to this podcast that are into the outdoors. So you go to the website at bolotor.com. That is BOLOTOR.com. Or just look it up on the podcast platforms. That is the Bolotor Podcast. The Bolotor Podcast. Anywhere podcasts can be found. If you want outdoor adventure stories, tips and tricks about the outdoors, or discover things you never knew about the outdoors, hear the most influential people in the industry talk about the outdoor industry, that is the Bolotor Podcast. Guys, here's why hormones suck. And by the way, this is something that I was talking to a lot of dudes with about last night. So, most guys are focused on testosterone, and that's not even half the puzzle. In order to absorb testosterone optimally, you must also have adequate growth hormone, more specifically, its end result, growth factors. Unfortunately, growth hormone decreases every year after you hit puberty, which may explain your poor gym performance or even excess body fat. And that's where BioPro Plus comes in. So BioPro Plus gives you back those growth factors naturally, giving you HGH-like results with 0 needles, 0 side effects, 0 doctor visits, all at a fraction of the cost of the prescription treatments. So I tried protein myself and I love it. And like I said, I was just talking about this with people last night. So it does improve your mood. It does improve your energy, especially as you start to get older. So head on over to bioproteintech.com, BioProteintech.com to learn more, or click the link in our bio. Use the code BOYSCAST and you get $30 off your first order at bioproteintech.com with the promo code BOYSCAST. Okay, so this is a For the Boys segment. Accidentally, some might say. 6 red flags narcissists use to manipulate you during an argument. And the reason it's good is because this is by HuffPo. So that the point of this article was not to...
Guys, it's things men do. Male narcissists.
Definitely they weren't just trying to... Or they were saying girl to girl, and they were just not thinking about the implications of what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's been a lot of blogs trying to... Because, there's probably lots of different people that work at these, and there's some blogs trying to write, kind of normal articles that aren't that crazy. Like there was one... Actually, I wrote it down here. The Cut did an article saying the case for marrying an older man. And it was kind of more, it was mostly like normal reasons you'd think, being like, yeah, he had more money and I kind of could work on my career. And it was a pretty normal stuff. And her basic premise was like, I married this guy that was like 8 years older than me and it like worked out pretty good. I recommend it. Right? Yeah. The internet sort of blew up on it, right? Because they don't like the age gap stuff. They'll be like, 3 years older. It's like, well, it's pedophile. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You were 18 and this guy was 21. It was like, well, there's basically a Japanese upskirt.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to actually, I'm just going to go back to the other thing, but I wanted to read the part of the Cut. So this girl goes, there are a lot of issues with the Cut story because this on Twitter, girl Twitter was not happy with this age gap business, right? There are a lot of issues with the Cut story, but no one can argue that this paragraph isn't true. And it's exactly how to explain my desire to never date again.
Never date again, period.
She goes, there is a boy out there who knows how to floss because my friend taught him. Now he kisses girls with fresh breath. A boy married to my friend who doesn't know how to pack his own suitcase. She likes to do it for him. A million boys who don't know how to touch a woman go to therapy because they were pushed. How to learn fidelity, boundaries, decent manners, use a top sheet and act humanely beneath it. Call their mothers, match. So they're like,
lost me a top sheet.
Oh, they're honestly basically saying that like men are just drooling morons before they meet a woman, right?
Top sheet's the stupidest thing in the world.
I mean, you could also say the other way around, where it's like, yeah, there's a million girls that didn't know they had to do their taxes,
yeah, of course,
or whatever. There's a million different things.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is just they're just mad because this article
pack their suitcase. I mean, I got news for you. The guy knows how to pack a suitcase.
Yeah, he packs it.
Doesn't want to do it.
Or he does it, and the girl's like, "Oh, there's a better way of doing this." You're like, "All my stuff is in the suitcase, though. Like I got it all in." She goes, "Well, you can have more room for more stuff." You go, "I don't want. I'm good. I don't." But she goes, "Well, I got to put some of my stuff in your bag." And you go, "Oh, so we need room for your stuff."
I'll say this too. On the sexual thing, this is one of the biggest misconceptions girls will say, because a lot of times they'll say, I taught this guy how to like please women and how to be good at sex. What they don't realize is they're all different. So you're like, no, you taught him how to like really do this one thing that you specifically like.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the next girl with this weird move and she's like, what's this fucking shit? And you're like, oh, I have to do this. This is what you do for women.
Yeah, that was with all when like choking really became popular. And then you're like, fuck, every chick wants to be choked. But then you like encountered the odd one where it didn't. And you go, well, fuck, I'm like, I got to try. And then she's like, oh, we're not doing that. And you're like, oh,
I don't like to be choking. Danny's like, what's that?
Homer Simpson style.
What? I can't hear you.
You go, fuck, it's like the last 10 this.
You gotta speak louder, honey.
Be like, all the other ones like this. And she goes, I don't
You've got the tire on her neck, pulling it over yourself.
Like just like fucking setting a gallows up.
Is that what?
That's not the safe word.
Yeah.
We have a safe word for a reason. You got your foot on her chest.
Yeah.
Pulling the fucking.
It's so hard to know.
But yeah, that's her. Her sort of premise was a little bit flawed, where they go, "We disagree that age gaps are good. Any guy with a girl 2 years younger is crazy. No girl should ever do it. Blah blah blah." But she was right that guys are retarded.
Yeah, guys are sure, and women are retarded too, and we're all varying degrees. The thing that
20-year-old girls like, yeah, she's got her life right together.
The thing that made women really mad with this Cut article specifically is she really puts a value on youth. Like she goes, like youth is. She goes, I could be like working on my career, but at the end of the day, like my youth is the thing that's the most valuable in like the mating market.
They couldn't have liked that,
which women hate because there's so many women who are being told like, oh, you can actually put that stuff on hold to like focus on yourself, but then they get to a point where they're older and you're like, yeah, guys don't care that much that you're a fucking lawyer. They care more about your youth and stuff
You're
like
hot.
that. And I mean, women care about that. Like, think about the industry around that exists, must be multi-billions, hundreds of billions, about making women look more youthful.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's like, it's insane. That's like what most women at the end of the day care. All women care about that at some age, which is probably like not even that
Dudes
old.
care about getting those gains.
Yes.
Big industry around that.
About the game, yeah. And women care about just like looking. I mean, I joke because like my girl does, you know, she does stuff, and like I was like, you could, if you could tell a chick, you go, look, there's this new thing where a guy punches you in the face 20 times and it gets rid of your wrinkles, they do it. That's
why they go on the subway.
Like Mike Tyson punches you in the face 20 times and like your face gets all swollen, but then once it comes down, you're like, you look a little younger. Chicks would be like, sign me up.
Those lip ones don't look that comfortable when you're sitting there with your fucking lips about to explode and they're putting more needles in them.
None of it does. Dude, they do all sorts of shit. They'll like chemical peel on their face and you look like a fucking tomato. And you go, yeah,
I know.
But I look 6 months younger. You go, this looks really painful. And they're like, yeah, it is. It's really painful, but
The game's the game.
game's the game. Yeah.
So anyways, she was getting killed on that article, but I've noticed that, yeah, some of these bloggers, like there's the odd person there that's trying to write like just common sense, normal articles. And if you look at the discourse online, it's them just getting shredded, being like, we don't do that.
Yeah. Unfollowed.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. But these are the things that they say narcissists might do during an argument. They didn't say which gender is more likely to do this or less likely to do this, but I'm not angry. You're angry.
I mean, who's angry though?
People with pathological narcissism use an unconscious defense mechanism called projection, in which they disown their own emotions, believing they belong to someone else. So, for example, maybe the silent treatment might fall under that category.
Yeah, I mean, I've also been in scenarios where you've been in an argument with your significant other, and one of you is angry, and one of you is not angry.
You should have known I was upset is another thing that
Chicks
people
will
of
say.
Unspecified gender might say if they're narcissists.
Something that historically women, it's become almost a trope.
So there's just some people of different. We're not here to talk about what gender it might be.
No.
But some narcissists of unspecified gender might say things like, "You should have known I was upset."
Sure, yeah.
Well, many people with personality disorders and relational trauma believe that others should read their mind. This is especially prominent in people with NPD. So they might think that you should be a mind reader, for example.
Why not? Why not? Totally reasonable.
Some of these people of unspecified genders might give long-winded expressions that don't touch on the point.
Okay.
This article feels like it was written by a disguised.
This is like MGTOW article right here.
It does feel like that. There's a concept called word salad, where they just. Johnny likes that one. Where they just might say things that don't make sense. They may spout statements that just don't connect and just confuse you. It's what JJ does.
Yeah, JJ.
But that's his gay gene.
Yeah,
Doing girl shit.
exactly. That goes back to the feminine stuff.
If you loved me, you would do this. So, for example, some unspecified genders might say that if you'd go on vacation with them, if you really cared about them.
You know, if you financially cripple yourself for this meaningless thing, it would be showing your love for me.
It does seem like a mole wrote this.
Yeah. This is a turncoat.
Can't believe you're attacking me. I always get blamed. And no matter how wrong your loved one is, they always see themselves as the victim. So we're not, again, I'm not here to point fingers at what people might do this,
I'm
what
sure
people might not do
men
this.
have been guilty of this. But,
Obviously.
But yeah, this is mostly just girl stuff.
It does feel like kind of, like you said, a trope almost,
Yeah.
to the point where it's like classic.
Yeah, it's classic, but I don't know. I don't know what they're up to at HuffPuff. I don't know if is this an AI article? Is this what AI? You let AI write the
You
articles?
let loose?
You go, hey, AI is just calling it like it sees it, you know?
AI's just calling balls and strikes out here.
I don't know.
Yeah, AI's just calling balls and strikes out
It's
here.
possible.
So there's a museum, and they basically did a ladies only art exhibit, and then a man came, they don't let him in, and they sued him. But how they
He sued them.
he's suing the museum because listen to this scam this woman's got going.
Yeah.
South Wales, she does an art exhibit. Anyone can come. When men come, They get turned away at the door, and they go, well, I already bought a $60 ticket. And they go, that's part of the exhibit that you get turned away after buying a ticket.
It is pretty, from a bullshit art standpoint. They go, that is actually kind of funny. They go, yeah, you like being mad about not getting
This is part of the
because it's just like a
exhibit.
section of the museum, so
Yeah.
it's like this one exhibit you're not allowed into, and then the guy's like, huh, what? And you go,
Your rage is part of the exhibit.
some guy, as you're like having a hissy fit, some guy goes and he just puts like a little ropes around you, you know. You're just like, go, keep going.
Well, the guy starts his own exhibit and we charge you $50 when you get there. He calls you fat, and then you cry, and then he goes, I call this one a woman's sorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah. So basically, they have a thing called the ladies' lounge, and the guy doesn't get in, and then he's suing them. And the girl, she goes to court, right? Mm-hmm. And in the courtroom, she brings a bunch of people and does her own art exhibit in the courtroom.
Honestly, kind of funny.
Honestly, not bad. Yeah.
Pretty. Like I was reading this, I go, pretty funny.
She said the Mona rebutted by saying the exclusion of men is the point of the ladies' lounge exhibit.
Yep. That's the point. Now,
So you can really get away with anything if you say it's art.
for art. Now, one thing I was wondering is, because I was thinking about this, and you know, from a normal perspective, you're like, yeah, women should have women-only things, and men should be able to have men-only things. Are men allowed to have men-only things anymore? Like without getting like sued and shit? Like, are there?
We have our punching ladies Discord.
we have our incel Discord. That surely will not. Ladies don't know how to use.
I mean, the
Discord.
trans stuff is a bigger hitch in this than any of this stuff.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, are there men's like clubs? Because that used to be very common, where there was like all these like exclusionary things, and then you go, you can't. You know, there used to be golf courses where
I mean,
it's, like,
Magic the
no
Gathering
black-
tournaments.
Right, but there's always still some women there. But like, you know, there's golf courses where it's like no black people, no Jews. That was very common until like not that long ago, to be honest. And then,
Why is that? Because they always welch on their bets?
which one?
Both.
No, but that used to be pretty common. Like even Augusta golf course was like no women until recently, and they were like steadfast. They're like no women, and then that eventually got broken where they had to start taking female members and
Having a
stuff.
gendered thing doesn't seem that crazy, but I guess it gets to a
And they always had obviously women-only gyms. That's like, I think, does still exist, besides the fact that like transgender
spas,
yeah, women-only spas,
men only rub and tugs.
men only rub and tugs. Yeah, but I wonder, like, can you just have like a men's, like, what degree does it of, like, can you say it's men? Like,
I think you
obviously
can't. I think the laws are kind of coming down on you can't really.
You can't have that stuff anymore.
Well, they're trying to.
You have like a cigar club, men only. Cigar and Scotch club.
I
and
think
you just-
probably if it's small enough, you get away with it. But probably I guess it works probably to some degree the way the companies work. Like when it gets to a certain level, you got different rules.
Yeah.
But this woman, she's scamming money is the issue.
Yeah,
Like the issue here isn't that she had her women only exhibit. The issue here is that she's
I mean, the whole thing's a scam.
stealing money from. Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
of
it's
course, the whole
art.
thing's a scam. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know where she got. She had a Picasso in her little exhibit. I go, where the fuck did she get that thing?
I mean, you kind of do. What's the old Russian dolls where you?
Yeah, the
Russian dolls, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
called. But you do that where basically you ask people to go in one room and then they're mad because there's nothing in the room, and then you ask the other people and they go in the other room and they're watching the people in that room, and they go, "Is that it? We just watch the people," and then the third people are watching the room, watching them people, and you call it watching people.
Watch it. Hey, yeah. I mean,
The people watching exhibit.
the bar for
A cage
arts-
comes down and then you're just in there, and then people just watch you and point at you.
That is funny, actually. That'd be like a Jamie Kennedy kind of like,
Yeah.
or whatever, where you're just in there and.
But the courtroom's hilarious. During Tuesday's tribunal, she brought with her 25 women dressed in Navy suits and business attire. Throughout the proceedings, the 25 women silently read feminist literature and executed synchronized choreography movements like crossing their legs or applying lipstick in unison. When the day's lessons came to an end, KHL and the group of women left the building to the tune of Simply Irresistible by Robert Palmer. So it's quite...
That's what I was thinking, Robert Palmer, that music video, so that makes sense that they were doing that.
Hey, just on this sex thing, did I tell you my point yet where I've been saying this that I think I meant to say last week and I didn't? But because I said girls have a really tainted view of what guys like during sex. Have I
for
told
sure.
you this?
Yeah. No, I don't know if you've told me this specifically.
Okay, well, I feel like I have a pretty good point because for so much of dudes having sex in your first like 5 years at least is like doing positions where you're not going to bust super quick.
Yep.
So what girls think is your, like, they'll be like, oh, it's his favorite position. You go, on the contrary, that is my least favorite
right.
position.
Yeah.
So how many girls like under the age of 25 or even probably older, I think to some degree, some dudes probably, you find positions where so many girls think that the thing the guy likes is actually the thing he likes. Hurts a little bit, if anything.
Sure, yeah.
He's
It's more
bending.
teeth, please.
Yeah, there's probably so many dudes that like they what their girl thinks is their favorite thing is actually their least favorite thing. So they're in topsy-turvy world of what they think guys like.
And you can't tell them, right? You can't be like, hey.
Who would ever?
Yeah, you'd be like, if you tell your girl, you'd be like, this actually sucks. Nobody's ever liked this. And they're like, what? Like,
I know.
You shatter their world. They think they're like some sex goddess, and you're like, no, it's quite the opposite.
It's quite the opposite.
Demon.
You were able to make him last 3 minutes by kind of hurting with weird bendy positions.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was funny. Also, it was kind of making me laugh, the idea that, like, so Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland and all these movies have like these big warnings before.
Yeah.
But just the idea of like a bunch of dudes like with an aggressive, it's like this movie that you're watching is written in the olden days, so it may contain sexism. Everyone's like, let's fucking go. It may also contain racism. We're like, we're fucking going here, boys. Also, you might see women being denigrated. Like, let's fucking go. Turn it up. Guys got the popcorn ready. It's
For
like
Peter Pan.
Yes.
Kids movie.
You may also even see fat shaming. It's like, boys, we're fucking going tonight. Let's get this turned up.
The good old days.
Let's get this on the big screen, fellas. Just getting hyped up because they all of the trigger warnings. Here's probably the best cope of all time. Is she rude or is it just PTSD? What do you think?
'Cause third option, she's on her rag.
That's another third option, but is she on a reg or is it just PTSD?
Crazy that you're like, is it an option that it might be 1 week of the month?
That's true. Well, this girl was really rude at Starbucks, and they've concluded that is she rude or she has PTSD. Well, she wasn't yelling at a woman at Starbucks, but she's just saying stuff like that. I'm
sure.
extrapolating. The actual article did not say she was at Starbucks.
Every article is women should not be held responsible for their actions.
She might have simply, that cold, rude woman over there, she might simply have given up trying to name what she was feeling. It might not be that easy for her to get other people to hear her. The repetition of trauma in women's lives accumulates and makes us more susceptible to PTSD, especially when we're witness to victims of trauma. We don't allow ourselves to feel. We sweep our emotions under the rug. So basically, it's kind of like women are so empathetic that you'll see other people kind of experience trauma, and that's why she's being a dick to everyone.
Yeah, totally reasonable. Honestly, like women read that woman writes this and she goes, this is such a reasonable position that I'm rude to strangers.
Why are you such a bitch to that waitress? It's like, well, I don't know if you know this, but I have PTSD. And you go, what happened to you? It's not about what happened to me.
Yeah. She goes, I watched Law and Order last week and a woman was raped.
And I have PTSD.
Now I have PTSD, so now I'm going to be rude to people. And you go, okay.
I've been having dreams that have been giving me fucking PTSD, brother.
Yeah.
Legitimately, this whole dream where the serial killer was after me and then someone died, so I had to bury the body so the serial killer wouldn't find me because it was the tracks. It's like, this went on forever, dude.
You keep on having the same one?
No, it's all different ones. And then I had a show that night and I was still trying to get to the show. For some reason, the serial killer was going to be there, so I was trying to avoid the serial killer and he was like looking for me.
Oh, of course he's a man, huh? Fucking Ryan. Women can't be serial killers.
I was literally running from a serial killer for 6 hours. Then I woke up. It's just like, this is bullshit, man. I can't get a fucking sleep.
Dude, I'm telling you, you might need to take a massive dose of marijuana before bed because then you just don't have any dreams. It's just if you get.
Is that true?
Yeah. That's the whole
These
thing.
dreams have been getting me lately.
Dude, that's the whole thing. It's like I used to smoke weed like so much, and then like there was a decade where I just like didn't dream.
Well, you have your dreams anyway. It's just whether you remember them or not, huh?
Well, that's the thing. You have no.
Also,
like,
it's I think if you're having a lot of dreams, that means you're not really sleeping that good because you wouldn't remember them. I'm sort of half. It's like when you wake up and you go back to sleep and you're sort of half sleeping, tossing and turning all night, having these dreams.
You know what you should get? Actually, I just got an Apple Watch. You should get an Apple Watch just for sleeping because I wear it for sleeping and it tracks all your sleep.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah, I'm curious what your
Gonna
sleep.
explode.
I'm curious what your sleep looks like. Like how often you're like waking up.
I'm gonna fucking look at the watch and be like, "Hey, brother, you got to put the watch on because obviously we can't track your sleep." And I've been like, I've had it on for 3 nights. Watch.
I want to know what yours look like because it is like, dude, it's like to the minute. It says like, oh, you woke up here. It's like you're in REM sleep here, you're in deep sleep here, and like it tracks it all. Like it's just, and it says you slept. Because one thing is, I always actually thought I slept longer, and then you wake up and you go, oh, actually, you're sleeping less than you even think. Because I just time it by like when I get into bed, and I set my alarm like for when I'm getting into bed. But then you wake up and you go, oh, you slept way less than actually you thought.
I mean, that seems kind of obvious.
I guess, yeah. But even like
I thought
don't
it was
know.
every minute from when you hit the fucking
No, but I
pillow?
usually fall asleep pretty quickly.
And you're saying it takes a few hours to get into the nice sleep.
Well, yeah, but it just like it ends up being less than what I thought.
I'm gonna get a new bed. That's my new plan. But
oh, that's dude, the best thing you can get.
I know that's the new plan.
Yeah, get a good.
I told you I was thinking.
Get a good memory.
I was
phone.
thinking to myself, I thought this is kind of funny, but at the
knowing you two, you probably bought a bed for fucking like just $100
That's
on
correct.
Amazon.
that is.
You're like you spent fucking a third of your life in this thing, and Ryan's like whatever the cheapest possible thing is.
I did get the bed on Amazon.
But not even like Amazon has some good ones actually, but you probably just got the worst.
It's not a good bed. When I first moved to New York, I got fucking for $200.
Yeah.
They're giving them away.
That might be worse.
Not a good bed. But the other day I was like, because I've been on tour almost for like 8 months, you know what I mean? And then I have 4 more weeks, and I was kind of thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? Because like a lot of times it's like I'm just doing 70, 80 hours a week, like kind of whatever, but it's a lot of stuff I like doing, stand up and making videos. But like sometimes it's like I was thinking, I was like, oh, you know what I should do is like buy something that I like. And then it's like, okay, well, at least I'm like touring a lot and I have this money. And it's like, okay, I should buy something I like. And I sat there and I tried to think of something I would buy, and I couldn't come up with anything. I legitimately.
Were you like literally like, what are things?
I was trying to brainstorm something
What
I
are
would buy.
things
The only thing I
like?
buy is like shit that I hear on podcast ads. Like, I buy that shit. I'm pretty trigger happy with stuff I hear on ads.
Yeah.
I
mean, I guess.
but that shit's all $40. Like, it's not real.
Yeah. You gotta. I mean,
Dude, people from our podcast, this has happened many times where I'll talk about something and someone from our podcast will message me, you know, on Patreon or somewhere and be like, you should buy this. And I just pull the trigger on it immediately.
Just go buy it. Anything good?
I can't remember who recommended what and who recommended what, but like people.
Any specific?
When I was talking about Tonga Ali, someone told me of one recently, and I bought that.
Okay, that's good. Yeah,
But I was trying to think of like a real thing.
a bed is a good a good bed setup. Not even just the bed. Like go get like a good comforter, good pillows, like the whole thing. Maybe get the one like what is it, 8 Sleep or whatever, where it's like it cools it and all that stuff.
Oh, that's maybe what it is. Because I was thinking, I was like, maybe I get a car, and I was like, I don't want a car. What
do you want a car for?
I don't want one. I was just thinking of things people buy. You just Google like things guys buy. Then I thought my watch. I don't want a fucking watch. Yeah. And then you start thinking like, oh, maybe a fancy pair of shoes. And you're like, the best shoe you want is $150. Like,
yeah. You're not gonna go buy like a pair of like Gucci sneakers or for $900. You just feel like a dope.
Comment below with stuff to buy. I wasn't thinking crazy money either. I was like, you know how people would like go on a vacation. I was like, I don't want to go on a vacation.
Yeah, you don't like that
I don't want
stuff.
to travel. So I was like, okay, what would be like something that'd be like $1,000 that I'd buy that I'd like, and I couldn't think
Go
of.
get a good bed, man. Get the. I
Couldn't think of one
I got
thing.
the bed with the retractable with the feet go up and all that stuff.
You have the one with the feet go up?
Yeah, man, it's good.
So
it wasn't my idea.
Why do you want your feet up?
Because you're like
You're sitting there with your feet up?
Yeah, dude, it drains the blood out of your feet, and it's like, yeah. It's
I don't have
good.
too much blood in my feet. Is
Yeah,
that a
you
big
do.
problem
You
for
have way more blood in your feet than you know. Because think about gravity, right? But no. It's like one of those old.
Does it make your dick better though? That's not bad though. You're about to bone, and you put your feet up for a while and get the blood cooking down to your dick.
Yeah. It's like it puts the head up, the feet up. It's like they're not even expensive. You get them on Amazon for like $300. And they just like, you can just fucking, it's like an old person bed thing, you know? It's like
I know, that's what I'm thinking.
It wasn't my idea to
Do you have the thing? Do you go, and you put your feet up?
Yeah, and it has like settings.
How often do you put the feet up?
To be honest, maybe twice a month, maybe.
What for?
The girl does it though. She likes it.
Okay, so it's done for you.
Yeah, it was her idea. I was like, this is stupid.
I don't need the feet up,
And then now that she got it, I was like, all right. You know, watching a TV show or movie in bed, you put the back goes up, the feet go up. It's nice.
What about straps that goes on the girl's hand when she's sleeping so she can't put her arms and move her arms around?
I actually, yeah. What about just like a fucking board or divider? Like a bed divider? Like a plexiglass.
I've decided what I'm spending my money on.
The full separate beds. No, you just get two single beds show up.
A plexiglass divider. It comes down from the ceiling. You go, is this one of those beds? Plexiglass comes down in the divider in the middle of the bed.
Just be like one little like hand hole that she can just put her hand through if you want to touch each other. Other than that.
So that's an option.
That's an option. Yeah. I mean, if you lived in not New York City, you'd have way more options. Like you could, if you had like space, you'd be like, I'll go buy. Like I would buy a fucking sauna.
I know. If you weren't living in New York, there's things you could buy. I think that's what guys get to in their, in their 30s when they start like being, I'm an adult sort of thing. You go, what do I buy? You go, stuff for the house.
Stuff for the house, yeah, but you don't.
Well, I mean, if you want to have a house in Manhattan, it's like you better be the CEO of fucking Raytheon.
Yeah, you're not having a house in Manhattan. So, I don't know.
Because people certainly don't have to have their leg blown off or be in a firefight. They don't even have to be beaten to a pulp or mentally ill or have a narcissistic lover to have PTSD. Sometimes it just happens from watching your friend go through a breakup.
Oh, fuck off. You're rude. You're rude. Yeah, I was going to say, you're rude because your friend would probably not.
Well, but they're just saying, like, it doesn't have to be something bad to have PTSD. And then they do these studies. It's kind of weird because they'll do these studies and they'd be like, girls have PTSD way more. And you're just like, is that true? Or did guys just not say they had PTSD as much? Like, you're on the fucking honor system of who says they have PTSD. It's not really worth anything.
I mean, it used to be guys who went to war, and even then they were like, just like, he doesn't talk about it.
Some of them, yeah.
Dude, my grandfather probably saw some of the most horrific shit in the world. I never saw him even raise his voice.
My great-grandfather was in World War I, and he came fighting for Canada, and he came back because he got shot in the leg.
Yeah.
So he says.
Well, I'm sure he had fucking crazy. I'm sure he saw like the most insane stuff.
It might have been like what's the guy from 8 Mile? Something Bob.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck.
Johnny, find that guy's name from Emma.
Gay Bob or something? Or I know what you're talking about. I can't remember. But yeah.
But he might have shot. Yeah, I wonder if it was he shot. What? Cheddar Bob. Shot himself in the foot.
Oh, I thought Gay Bob.
But anyways, he took one in the leg, and then came back in World War I.
Yeah, war hero.
He was a war hero.
And I'm sure he wasn't fucking...
Come from a long line of war hero.
And I'm sure he wasn't fucking rattling on about his PTSD and being rude to people. They called it shell shock. They didn't even have a name for PTSD for the longest time. They just go, he has shell shock.
I do. It's always funny to picture like the PTSD meetup, and it's like, a guy who was in Afghanistan, then a guy who was like a war prisoner, and then like a girl who went through a breakup. And then
every week there's one more girl and there's one less guy. You go, what happened to them? We don't.
They are pushing they're really expanding the boundaries on what PTSD is.
Like literally like war heroes. And my cat disappeared for a week.
We got it back with the trauma.
Yeah, he came back, but it was traumatic while he was gone.
Instead of calling your close friend or colleague a derogatory name the next time she lashes out, ask her what's wrong. So it's like you're the problem if they lash out on you. So now they're lashing out on you, and it's like you're the problem because they might have PTSD from the breakup.
Yeah.
If you think you have PTSD, don't minimize your feelings. Don't blame yourself. All it takes is 5 TikToks telling you got PTSD, and you're fucking checking into the asylum.
I don't know about this don't minimize your feelings stuff. Literally, some of the best advice you could ever get is minimizing your feelings. Do not literally be dragged around by your feelings. And then chicks are like...
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a big supporter of the idea of it probably isn't going to help you to dwell on it.
No. I mean, if you have a real thing, you need like professional help, go get your professional help. But
well, yeah, I guess the answer...
Be a fucking asshole your whole life.
If you can't get over it, then you're like, okay, well, you're going to have to try something else to get over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you feel like it's not really bugging you, definitely don't start being like, oh, it is bugging you. You just don't realize.
Yeah. Don't like try and drum it up.
Like when you're like, I'm fine. And they're like, no, you're not fine.
You go, no, I'm telling you.
Maybe I'm not, I guess. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm fucking retarded. Am I retarded?
Chicks just saw PTSD and that's such a man thing to have PTSD, and then like it's just like a male dominating. They go, we gotta get it.
We need more women in PTSD.
We need a slice of that pie.
We need more women in PTSD.
We need a slice of that pie.
Yeah, they definitely want a slice of the pie. Also, it's funny, the thing I was showing you was Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah.
Because, after sort of canceling and all that sort of stuff, they kind of ran out of things, and now then it became like exposing everyone for everything, and now it's just like everyone getting hit for every last thing. But Zooey Deschanel, people are mad because her dad is basically like an Oscar winner. It's sort of like the hockey story we were talking about in the Patreon, but basically her dad's like an Oscar winner, and she's an actress that and they're hitting her with like nepotism claims, like being like, you know, you're only this because your dad or whatever, which is like a little bit true. But the correct answer is to, like, there's some people who, a lot of people who are actors are like, my dad's an actor and I became an actor, and the smart move is to come out and be like, yeah, no, my dad was an actor, and it's sort of like the family business for us, you know what I mean? I got into it because of him, and you kind of say that and it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, some people's dad was a plumber and they become a plumber, and you're like, dad was an actor and you become an actor, but they go on and they go, it didn't help me at all. There was no benefits to my dad being, you know, this Oscar winner. It's actually, I did it all myself. And you're like, no, obviously you fucking helped.
Yeah.
What are you, crazy?
And it'd be stupid to not, if you had a parent who's in the entertainment industry, to not, take advantage of that.
Yeah, of course it helps.
Again, and like acting's bullshit. Anyways, it's like it's not.
Gotta be like, I'm moving up the ranks of finance, and my dad's the BlackRock CEO, but it had no effect. You're like, it did, but it's like, there's a way to spin that where you're just like, oh yeah, well, my dad's a big finance guy, and he taught me about finance, since I was 2 years old.
Yeah,
and it helped me. And then I decided I wanted to go into the family business, and it's actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah, and I can be trusted because it's family.
Well, that's another point. Yeah, you can probably, people want to hire people that they can trust or whatever.
Yeah, to not like fuck up their company. But
and also, dads want to like do favors for their kids because it's like a nice thing to do. Sure,
and maybe hang out with their kids more or whatever. I mean, there's a million reasons.
The difference is in a skill profession. Like, for example, if you go, I was like the head of Berkshire Hathaway, and your son's moving up, and you're like, well, is he good at this? You know what I mean?
For sure. Like I don't think
it's a real job. You go, how is he performing? But in acting, there's no real. You go, well, this person's better, and you go, says who? It's all fake.
Bullshit. Yeah.
It's like the old David Spade thing, where it's like, acting's the only profession where it's like people take 40 years to be the top athlete in their field, and then go to the Olympics, win, waltz into acting, first year best actor.
Exactly.
I think he was talking about the girl's 4 years old. He goes, and what other profession is the best at it in the world for?
Oh, when Kirsten Dunst or whatever, when she won.
I don't know, some kid.
She won. Well, I don't know if it's her, but I remember she won for.
I think it might have been the guy from the I See Dead People movie.
Oh, Haley Joel. Yeah.
There's probably been a few, but
yeah. I mean, sometimes. Well, and acting's because you have to have. You could be there. Like, there are people who are the best actors, who are like the best Broadway actors or whatever the fuck. Nobody gives a shit about them, and they just never happen to get a role that you need to basically be cast in a role. The director's good, the script's good, the editor's good, like the marketing is good, all those things to wind up like to align so that people are like, oh, you're an amazing actor.
Exactly. Right? That's a great point. Dude, I've seen a million things where people do it and then the editor's bad and you're like, these actors suck.
Yeah, these actors suck.
No, they just put a song underneath that didn't suit the pacing, and then they look like they're speaking too slow or fast and awkwardly. Like, you can make people seem good or bad actor by the like presentation so much.
For sure. Yeah.
Dude, you ever see Jared Leto, for example, right? He's kind of revered as like a good actor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But sometimes they do like these TikToks. They start doing stuff, to promote stuff. They'll do like a little sketch with an Instagram guy, and you're just like, take away the bells and whistles. You see this guy in this little Instagram sketch. You're like, this guy's not good at acting.
Guy.
It almost seems bad.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, because take away the presentation.
Or like the best director in the world, and
yeah, the guy didn't pick the right take. It just seemed, bad acting.
Million factors, yeah.
And then the UN, Saudi Arabia. The UN gives Saudi Arabia a leadership role on the Women's Rights Commission, which is so
UN's
funny.
Back, baby.
Do you think that's what they did?
I think they made her the head, or they made them like the head of the.
That was a top role.
A top, yeah.
Saudi Arabia's ambassador to the United Nations. Name that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce.
Come on, just give it a shot.
Abdulaziz.
That's not bad.
Al Wasil.
Okay, not bad.
You think that's what it is?
That's probably pretty
Abdulaziz.
Yeah.
It's good. Fucking Abdulaziz isn't a bad name.
No.
So anyways, crazy name. Was elected as chair of the UN Commission of the Status
chair.
of...
The chair.
So fucking
Top
funny.
dog.
I guess this is sort of like a diversity thing overshadowing the women thing. Women were fucked in the noggin if they ever thought that they were going to stay at the top of this pyramid.
They could always hope.
But it's just hilarious if
Putting this out.
that guy just like sneaking in. He's just at the back being like, this bitch should be in fucking jail for doing OnlyFans, dude.
Yeah. Wait, you guys drive? Fuck. Well, not anymore.
That's always my favorite thing because millennials are like worse at driving and stuff like that, and it's like kind of like a boomer talking point to be like millennials or even like higher than boomer, where it's like, like millennials like crash way more, and you're like, we let our wives drive.
They insist on it.
What are you not understanding about these statistics?
You told them they were the best drivers of all time for some reason, and now they're testing out that theory in real time.
But everyone, go over to the Patreon, subscribe at BOYSCAST.com. I don't know. We do have BOYSCAST.com, but it's patreon.com.
Patreon.com/the Boys.
The BOYSCAST. But we also do have, I think we have BOYSCAST.com or theboyscast.com. I can't remember which one.
I don't know. We should have both of them.
We do have one of them for sure, but patreon.com/theboyscast. We have 2 full Bugman competitions, half-hour long each.
We got a third one,
and then we have a third
pipeline.
coming, which I think we can announce it, right? We're pretty set on. We're doing gun range, so we're doing the gun range competition. Danny's 2-0.
Ryan is going to get shot in the foot.
I feel like, do you think you're better than me at that one? I feel like I could beat you at that one.
I don't know. My marksmanship, I've shot a gun like once in my life.
I have good hand-eye. Remember, I got high level lacrosse player and stuff, though, right? I knew it wasn't even gonna hit me. I thought so fast.
I have pretty good hand-eye coordination too, though. But I don't know how much hand-eye, because
you have fucking pretty good mouth-dick coordination.
When you're shooting, though, there's like a lot of the Wim Hof probably will help you because you gotta like really calm the body.
I don't feel like I need help. I feel like I'm way better than you at this. You're gonna stink
at shooting.
You've never done it either. If you were like,
I shot clays. I've shot clays before.
What's that?
Like clay shooting, and
how many times?
One time.
How many clays you hit?
Like 2 out of like 50 shots. I don't know.
It's not bad. That seemed like hard to hit. Maybe we'll add clays into the mix.
Yeah, clays are fun.
Clays seem kind of fun.
Yeah, but
a bunch of people on the Patreon
I
said
literally
they have gun ranges we could do it at.
Okay, well, I'm down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone. See people in Winnipeg next week. Peace.
Later.